Right, let's continue our random variables topic. Okay. Do you still remember how do you calculate your variance? What's the formula? It's EX squared minus bracket EX close bracket squared. Okay. Now what about standard deviation? How do you calculate standard deviation? Square root of variance. Just a little reminder of how do you memorize them. It's either you remember that standard deviation is 2 letters, so SD squared equals to variance, or either you memorize yourself that the V in variance, I can also make it like a square root. Square root of a variance, you got yourself a standard deviation. Okay, that's a quick way of memorizing this thing. I came up with this. I'm not sure other people use the same thing. Okay, the new thing that you need to learn, new thing that you need to remember is this. If I manipulate the mean, I can also rewrite it as this. Plus minus. Let's put a minus here. I got it the same as that. For variance, however, I'll get it something like this. Let's put squared with red. Let's call this the properties of manipulation. We'll see. Of mean and variance. If I try to manipulate of my mean and variance, this is how it becomes. What does this mean, sir? Never mind, we'll do some few examples later. But you need to memorize this one. And this is an easy marks in exams, provided that you need to memorize it. Okay, can we continue? I have to copy them. Right, so let's begin. Okay, let's start with the easy one. Let's say if I give you something like this. Right, how do you calculate the mean? How do you calculate the mean? The mean is simply times them up. So 1 times 2 over 7 plus 2 times 4 over 7 plus 3 times 1 over 7. I'm choosing easy examples for you, not choosing a hard one. That's easy. Now, how do I calculate the standard deviation? Let's go for variance first. You remember the formula? This one. Oh, I forgot to say something. This thing here is for discrete. Do you remember this topic? I told you there are two things, continuous and discrete. So this is for discrete. Let me put another thing, not continuous. For this topic, if you choose the wrong one, then you are so dead. Right, so how do we use that formula? This is the x, is the probability. We need to have one more, x squared. Normally, I'll do something like this. We manipulate the graph, I mean manipulate the table. So 1 squared, 2 squared, 3 squared, 9. Sometimes we might want to do separately. You calculate EX first. Let's calculate this one first. So how do you get this one? 1 times 2 over 7. 4 times 4 over 7. And 9 times 1 over 7. Which will give you 27 over 7. Are you guys okay? Not too fast, hopefully. This thing is for this part. How do I get here? We already calculate half of it. Sorry, I think my bad. I write down here. The mean, I can also rewrite it as EX. It's this part. So for variance, it's 27 over 7 minus take 13 over 7 squared. And what will you get? Press calculator. 20 over 49. Memorize the pattern. For mean, just times them, add them up. For variance, you need to have the x squared. How do I get the x squared? I squared the x, and then I times this, I add it up, minus the mean squared. Okay, you need to memorize the pattern. It's not that difficult yet. The word is yet. Now, how do I calculate the standard deviation? Square root the variance, right? Square root of 20 over 49. Well, I don't mind if you give in decimals. It's quite fine. But the answer I got on my slide is this, which can easily be found by silver calculator. For black, just give decimals, I'm quite fine. Should you leave your answer in 20 over 49? Personally, I'm fine. Okay, can we continue? Now, what about if you are given something like this? Well, let's say this is not an IQ test. And I want to find the value of t. If I were told the mean is 4, how do you find it? What is t? If I told you the mean is 4, how do I find the mean? How do I find the mean? Times, add up, right? So, 0.1 times 1 plus 2, 0.2 plus t, 0.7. And this one should be equals to 4. It's a standard exam questions in a very easy way. So t, just calculate them up, you get yourself 5. And my life is still easy. I'm not that harsh yet. Okay, what about if I say to you, calculate the variance before we continue? So right now you got t is 4. Do you remember how to calculate the variance? Find the x squared. 1, 2, 16. And then add it up. So t is 5. Oh my goodness. I took this 4. How do I find ax squared? Class, how do I find ax squared? Times this, okay? I'm running out of time. I mean, I want to save time. Shit, this is 4. Now how do I find ax squared here? In the bracket, ax squared. How do I find this one? You take the mean. You put it in here. So variant x is 18.4 minus 4 squared. Give you 2.4. Are you okay? Remember the pattern? Okay, now let's go to the new one. The question asks you to give you something like this. You want to find this. Okay, we still continue from this question, right? Now I can manipulate this becomes what? What's the formula just now? If you can remember them. Give you something like this. This one is EAX plus B, plus minus B. This one is E3X plus 2. So if I were to write down, class, make sure you know how to do this, okay? Give me full concentration for a while. You need to know how to do this. This is 3 marks in exam. The formula said is AEX plus minus B. AEX plus minus B. Give me your full attention right now. You need to know how to do this without the planes coming out. See. Do you got minus here? No minus, right? So should I have this minus? I should not have it. So I just copy back the formula. So now let's try 3EX plus 2. What's my EX? I got it 4 here. So 3, 4 plus 2. Got it? Was it that difficult? Not that difficult. You just need to memorize the formula. Alright, now, next one. Next one is to calculate variance 1 minus 3x. If we look at the formula, where's the x? The x in the left side. Let's copy back first. If you look at the formula, x is the left side. This one, x is on the right. So to make things easier for you, I highly recommend you manipulate this so it becomes something like this. Minus 3x plus 1. Are you okay? It's the same thing. Just easier for your eyes. And then the formula becomes a squared variance x. A squared variance x. So what does it become for this one here? Try to think. If this one just now we got ourselves E3x plus 2, it becomes 3EX plus 2. Now what about here? It says a squared. So what squared? What should I square here? Yes, the negative 3 variance x, I squared it. You guys okay? Now what happened to the plus 1? What happened to the plus b here? Is there any plus b? The plus b got disappear. So I'm not looking at the plus 1. Just that. Understand? Someone say they got confused. No, it just there's no just plus b. So what we got ourselves is 9. What's our variance x? We calculate just now is 2.4. So ultimately give us 21.6, if I'm not mistaken. Are you guys okay? Memorize the formula? Am I too fast? Do you want me to repeat that again? Okay, good. Now, putting those knowledge to practice, this is a bit manipulative. Those are basics exam question, but sometimes the exam can come out something like this. The question is still easy, but you need to think a little bit. Okay, we were given this table with two unknowns, A and B, and then we were told that the mean is negative 2/5. Find A and B. How? Any good ideas? How do we get mean? Times, and plus it up. So let's try using this information first. So negative 2a plus 0b plus 3/1/5, which give me negative 2/5. Are you okay with how I got this one? This one gave me 0, doesn't matter. So from here I got one equation, one unknown. I can solve it, so I get myself A equals to 1/2. Alright, I got A. A is solved. How do I find B? One equals to? Oh, yes. What's the properties of, what's the characteristic of probability? Equals to 1. So if I add things up, if I add here, I add here, I add here, so B equals to 1. So simply 1/2 plus B plus 1/5 equals to 1. So which will give us B is 3/10. Okay, that's an easy example for an advanced question. Right, I hope you got them. Please share, like, and subscribe.